Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, sports lovers all over the world, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you to Redeem Sports at the King's Palace Television, where we are reviewing the Qatar 2022 World Cup. My name is Tunde Badru, I'm your host. My co-host has not changed. He's right here with me in the house, Dimeji. Dimeji, it's been a lot of comebacks, a lot of upsets. I mean, it's been great this past 1 week in Qatar. What is it for you?
You know, Tunde, first of all, you guys are looking great with your face caps, and courtesy Tunde, our usual guest here on the show. You know, for me, it's the fact that there's been lots of upsets.
Yeah.
You can't predict the World Cup anymore. Soccer used to be, a football, like some of you know it, used to be very easily predictable. You have the top guns going against other teams, but now you're seeing a lot of countries that did not even look like they had what it took to win, and they've been winning games. Now, most importantly for me is the fact that this is the first time a female referee is officiating a World Cup game. That is huge. Yeah,
it is. It is. Well, viewers, we are not alone here. I will make Dimeji introduce our guest. The usual suspect is here, but we have some new faces too. Dimeji, will you introduce our guest?
Sure. So to my left, we have a very huge sports, soccer, football enthusiast. His son and daughter plays football. To my left, I have Mr. Ademola Fashade.
Thank you, Dimeji.
You're welcome.
And to the right of Mr. Tunde Badru, we have another sports football lover, a sports enthusiast. Olaolu.
Sir, thank you for having me, sir.
You're welcome.
Well, before we get into the details of today's analysis, because now we are approaching the round of 16, we want to take a very short commercial and we'll be back. Go nowhere. It's going to be hot and spicy today. We'll be back shortly.
Join millions of thankful hearts as we celebrate, jubilate, and appreciate God for all He's done in 168 hours of non-stop victorious super mega praise and worship in diverse languages, with diverse dance steps from diverse races, worshiping Jesus Christ the Lord. You are invited to experience the best of praise, worship, and thanksgiving as we wrap up this year with 168 hours of praise running 24 hours for 7 days non-stop, from December 24th at 10 p.m. to December 31st at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. This event shall feature several anointed worship leaders and gospel artists from different regions of the world, featuring Pastor Hope David, Gabriel Aziashi, Tunde Alameru, Ranti Awana, Pastor Iti Denise, Adeshla Oguntameng, Funke Akinakun, Femi Micah, Sandra Martins, Ronke Adeshakan, the TKP Orchestra, Jesutome Olufua, the Kingdom Voices, Bidame Oladile, Buki Alameru, Rosemary Orisomenabo, Busolo Ujai, Stacy Egbo, Inko Famwiwa, Tommy Favored, and Peter Adeshola and Shay Yalis on sax. This is an outstanding yearly event with physical location at the main auditorium of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, the King's Palace, located at 5371 East 5th Street, Katy, Texas, 77493. You can join the event virtually as we will be streaming via multiple social media platforms. You can also join us by visiting any of our viewing centers or even start your own watch party anywhere all over the world. If you have interest in hosting a viewing center or wanting to start a watch party for any segment of the event, please send an email to info@168hoursofpraise.org. For more information, please visit www.168hoursofpraise.org. Get ready and let's come together to experience another session of divine glory and bliss. Jesus is Lord.
You're welcome back to the Redeem Sports at the King's Palace Television. It's Qatar 2020 World Cup that we are reviewing. We go straight into, a lot of the events and matches that took place in the last 1 week. And I want to start with Laulu. All right, it's been great football without any question. We've seen some comebacks. We've seen some great football, like Dimeji was saying earlier on, female referee. We've seen penalties, kicks missed by top players and so on and so forth. But which of the matches in the last 1 week has been the big one for you, the great one for you in entertainment, in power, in skills, in everything? Which one will you go for as the best?
Yes, sir. So from a quality standpoint, you know, watching Germany and Spain was a good quality soccer football. You know, both teams played similar styles of play, very exciting. In my opinion, Germany should have won the game, but at the end of the day, you know, sharing each point is not a bad idea. But and then from a suspense standpoint, you know, Iran versus the USA game was full of suspense because you know, if US had lost, there will have been a lot of you know, the media will have escalated it, and then if Iran had won, so there's a bunch of things riding on in that game. But at the end of the day, the USA won, and I'll keep rooting for them and all the way. And from a you know, exciting standpoint, you know, the game between Serbia and Cameroon, I believe, was a good game because of that goal by Vincent Boubacar, the chip, which in my opinion has been the best goal of the tournament so far. So those are the three matches that I've singled out that have been very exciting. So.
Very good. I will stay to my right, and I will ask Tunale Mero to...
All right, thank you, Tunde. I think I'm going to start from the fact that last week, for me, it's been a lot of lesson, I must say. Last week, Tunde said it's good to celebrate quick wins, but be very, very careful. I didn't imagine Argentina topping that group, and the same Saudi now is out of the World Cup. For me, that's a big, big, big lesson. And talking about excitement, watching the game Argentina versus Poland was a big game. And for me, the best goal so far was the one by Mexico, the free kick yesterday.
Amazing.
Well, it's been a great week, like you all have said. But I was talking to a friend on Sunday, and I said I would never bet against Argentina. I would never bet against a team that has Messi on it, because I know they were going to come back. So I wasn't really surprised that Saudi at the end of the day got dropped out. But I love the goal, the Brazilian goal. I forget the name of this guy now. The double kick, back flip goal. It was, I mean, to me, that was huge because he got the pass. It looked like he was losing the ball and then turned around. And that, I mean, with his back to the net, that was really, really huge for me. But again, with all the, like my brother here said, it's the Iran and USA game. Of course, it's always a lot of political undertones to that. Whether the U.S. is playing Iran or Russia, or, you know, or the big names that, you know, in America. But I'm really happy that the U.S. will be moving to the next one.
Yeah, very good. Imagine.
Awesome. Tunde Lemuru, real quick. The first week of the World Cup, it felt like the African teams were asleep. And now into the second week, all of a sudden there's this resurrection by the African team. You see Senegal winning, you see Ghana also waking up. What African country has impressed you the most, and why have they impressed you so far?
Honestly, Dimeji, I have a feeling that somebody probably sent the recordings of last week to them to watch. Because it was like, I was wondering, are these the same African countries we were talking about? I'm really, really so impressed. For me, the best game, I think my best team so far is Morocco. For topping the group. And the sweet one for me yesterday was Tunisia beating France. That was just good. That was so sweet for me.
Well, we know Tunisia will make it.
Yeah, I know.
But it was a good victory.
And Debola, what do you think? Why have the African teams all of a sudden just woken up?
You know, that's a very, very good question. I thought about it watching the Portugal-Ghana game. And I was a little bit upset about that game because I thought the first penalty given to Ronaldo was just a gift. Other people can have a different opinion. But
star players are allowed to have gifts?
Yes, that's true. That's true. But my challenge was there should at least, to be fair, there should have been a review.
Yeah.
You know, a VAR. You know, But it didn't happen. I mean, we have to move on. But I think that woke Ghana up. That woke Ghana up, and they did extremely well. Now, with the question of what were they sleeping before, why did they start doing well? I think being on that kind of stage, I think for my African brothers, maybe it's you know, they have to have something that will spur them on. You know, maybe it's the cold feet of, you know, oh, I'm going to be on this big stage dealing with the Messis of this world, the Ronaldos, the Mbappes of this world, whatever it is. But I'm glad that at the end of the day, they stepped up and they're doing very well.
Thanks, Demola. Laulu, do you have to lose first, i.e. the African teams, before you get yourself together and wake up and at least play better?
Short answer, no. But, you know, in the World Cup, you know, things happen. The first game is usually a tricky match because you don't, especially if you haven't played that opponent in a friendly game in the past, or just, you know, you have to kind of put out there players that you think can win. So, a famous quote from a football player, football coach in the past that says you have to play to win the game, right? So if you go out there and you need to perform in order to win, but sometimes things don't go as planned, and but the thing is you don't want to lose in the World Cup. You can play to tie, but when you lose matches in the World Cup, you know, it kind of makes things difficult for you to qualify for the second round. So it's not, it doesn't have anything to do with per se winning, losing, going there to lose, but the thing is if you lose, it kind of propels you to actually play better because you know what is at stake. So that's my own opinion.
Thanks, Laulu. And back at Tunde, before you ask your question, do you believe in the God of football? Having a hand in this. Now, just keep that thought to yourself. I'll probably ask you that at the end of the show.
Okay, all right. He's the God of everything. but I'll wait for you to ask it properly. But yes, God is the God of everything. He created everything. So if they say God of football, it depends on the context, you know. If you are talking about, you know, him as a creator, then he's the God of everything.
I mean, him waking the African team up.
But if you say he wakes the sleep up, yes, he can wake the sleeping giant up, you know. Anyway, I think now we started talking about the Iran-US match, you know, earlier on. That was beyond a soccer game. I mean, it was so serious. In fact, a journalist took on the Captain of America up and said, well, you are mispronouncing the name of our country. It's not Iran, it's Iran. And the guy was very cool, calm. Adams, he was cool, calm, kind of say, I'm sorry about that. And then say, well, can you talk to her about discrimination in America? He said, well, you know, we're getting better at it. I mean, it was extremely political. But then, like Laulu said, the U.S. won on the occasion. Demola, if it had gone the other way, like Laulu was saying, I mean, can you stretch your imagination a little bit and tell us what would have been happening in Iran or even in the U.S.?
Well, with Iran, it would have been a huge celebration. But with the U.S., well, it would have been a big disappointment, too, with the U.S. And like you rightly said, it's always going to be political undertones to this. And people probably, journalists, will have stretched it beyond what it should be and all of that. But again, we've said this here, there have been upsets. There are teams that were underdogs and they've come to do big things because they were ready for the occasion. And if Iran had won, yes, it could have, I mean, it would have been a lot of talks about other things that are not even football.
Okay, now look, can you stretch your thoughts a little bit? You started this conversation about Iran, U.S., and if you had been the other way around, you know, what would it have been like in the U.S. if U.S. had lost?
Well, actually, if they had drew the match, it would have been a problem too. So, but from a standpoint of if Iran had won the match, yes, obviously it would have been a big disappointment, like Demola had said. But also from a political standpoint, you know, it's a win for the politician in terms of bragging rights. You know, they will have things to say during, you know, political meetings and things like that. And also, you know, I'm sure the streets of Iran will have been on fire just because they might not have qualified, but just the fact that they won that match, it will bring a lot of statement. But at the end of the day, the U.S. won, and they are the ones moving on, and all the stories are just stories. So.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Tuna Almero, you live in the U.S. U.S. winning. what does it mean?
I feel that if Iran had won that match, it would have been a game of supremacy in terms of football. The last time they met was June 1998, and Iran beat U.S. by 2-1. Wow. So it was just good that U.S. won. Yes.
Awesome. Dimeji.
Lalu, quickly, sometime last week, the Saudis, they celebrated.
The Rose Boys.
They got gifts that to an American or to others, it's just unheard of. I mean, you win one game and you get a Rolls Royce, then I want to play football, right? Now, the public holiday, we know we can't take that back. But really, what really happened to the Saudis after a great start beating Argentina?
Well, I think, first of all, I don't think...
And should they have should the government take the Rolls Royce?
Well, first of all, I think going into that match, I don't believe they were promised a gift if they won. So the win resulted in the king or the prince offering them a Rolls Royce. Now, you know, if you presented a gift, I don't think you should return it, in my opinion, because you never asked for it. It was just a result of a situation that happened. So I don't believe, in my own opinion, I don't think they should return it, first of all. And it's a gift. I'm sure the king has so much money that he wants to kind of pass around. So why not just take it? But at the end of the day, they are not qualifying. They're only getting a gift for one win, which is Argentina. And from that standpoint, I think it's a win-win for the prince himself, because out of the spur of the moment, he decided to extend a given, you know, become a father Christmas, so to say. Christmas came early, so but you know, if I'm them, I'm keeping it, and it's basically a reminder of the fact that this team that we took to this World Cup beat this great team. So awesome. That's my own opinion.
And Demola, real quick, excuse me, should the Rolls Royce not be a good motivator for them to win matches?
Well,
I mean, given that some countries don't even pay their players the bonuses or allowance for qualifying for maybe not even the World Cup.
Thank you for that question, Dimeji. First of all, let me say this. For any country, and if we're not talking about France, you know, the big name, Brazil, for any country, beating Argentina. Argentina is a great in football, in world football. I remember when in the Olympics, when Nigeria, it was, I mean, the streets were flooded. It was in the middle of the night. So Argentina is a country that any country, any of these small countries in soccer, in world football, beat Argentina is huge. Now, giving Rolls Royce and all of that because of that win, that is left to the king. He has the resources. He gave the gift. In my opinion, I don't think you should take that back. And I don't think the guy should give it back. And let me say this too, quickly. I don't think even the king or even the Saudis believed that they were going to win the World Cup. I mean, maybe they were thinking that it would have been wishful thinking. And I'm being honest here. But the truth is, beating Argentina is huge. It's huge. And I think they deserve some gift. It might not be Rolls Royce, but...
Thank you. Tuna Lemur, what happened to the Saudis? What truly happened?
Well, I think, in a way, I'll blame the king. Yeah. He gave them something that was actually much more than them. Probably because what now happened to Saudi only reminds me of a national team in Africa. I won't mention their name. So it was just amazing for me. And if they had lost their first game, they would have probably put even more seriousness in the other two games. But that the gift was just probably just too much for them. Because I looked at the game between Saudi and Mexico. I was like, is this the same Saudi? So something went wrong.
Something went wrong. Someone says, don't return the gift. Another says, we're talking FIFA 2022, the World Cup happening in Qatar. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, friends and viewers around the world. We're still talking FIFA 2022, the World Cup happening in Qatar. Again, still in the studio with us is Ademola Fasade. We have Tunde Alimero. We have Laulu Talabi. And my host that has not changed since this series started, Tunde Badru. We're having fun. We're talking this World Cup. It's been a game or a series of challenges, upsets. Some teams are happy, some are sad, some fans are happy, some fans are sad. Laulu, quick question right here. Now, the stage is set for the round of 16 where the winner takes it all. And tomorrow, we're looking at the Netherlands and the USA going at it. With what you saw in the group stages, the first round, I mean, what are you to expect, or what can we expect for the first round, the first match in the round of 16?
Well, this is where the big boys show up, you know. This is the round of 16. This is winner take all. If you lose, you go home or you go fishing, as they say. But, you know, from a U.S. standpoint, you know, first of all, the health of Christian Pulisic is important here because pretty much that last match, he basically sacrificed his body for that goal. Yeah. So they need him tomorrow to be ready to go. Is their major threat at scoring a goal. They need to score goals. They are striking, you know, they don't have a good striker to score goals, but, you know, I'm believing they can get this done. They've been playing together, they've been playing, they have a good coach, they have a good system that works for them. The midfield is solid, the young boys, the three in the middle. And the defense is suspect a little bit, but I believe Netherlands, you know, they cannot be sneezed at as well. You know, they've got the likes of Van Dijk in the back and De Jong in the middle, and they have a young striker as well. So, but I'm looking for the U.S. to gut this out and fight through and move on to the quarterfinals.
Thanks, Lalu. Tunde Alimero, the first round is when coaches try to figure out, you know, who plays, you know, what minutes, and, you know, just kind of figure out the full chemistry of the team in the competition. The round of 16, like Lalu have said, is, you know, you lose and you go home. It's like, that's why you're here, right? What are we to expect?
It's going to be a tough game. I'm hoping that the U.S. will be able to spring a surprise. And surprise in the sense that both countries have met 5 times since 1998. Netherlands won 4 times. Now, looking at their games, like Laolu said, the U.S. team, they play together as a team, compact. Netherlands have good strikers, the likes of Depay. They are just good in everything. They have good midfield, good defense as well. But I'm hoping that the U.S. will be able to spring a surprise tomorrow.
So you're betting on the U.S.?
Kind of.
And then round of 16, you win, you celebrate it. You lose, people wonder why make it this far to lose. What are we to expect?
Well, if we're talking about just the U.S. and the Netherlands, I believe that the U.S. will win, and that would be my own bet. But having said that, the U.S. has work to do. They have a lot of work to do. They don't have a striker that, I mean, you talk about countries, there's that one man that everybody is like, okay, you have to stay on this guy.
Yeah.
I don't, except from Pulisic. And Pulisic doesn't, it's not even a striker, I think he's a midfielder, I think. So there's not, the U.S. doesn't have that dangerous person.
Yeah, but that, and sorry to interrupt, that's been what I've seen in this World Cup, because the star players have not always lived up to the expectations. So you can't base victory on one particular star player.
That's very true.
Sometimes Messi was asleep and sometimes he woke up.
Well, that's very true. But what the part you're missing on that is the presence of Messi on that stage is a problem. Because the coach is saying, watch that guy. The presence of CR7 on the Portugal team is a problem because the coach is saying that guy is the man. He doesn't have to score, but he can make it happen for other people. Mm-hmm. And that's where you need that person that all eyes are going to be on him. But if there's no one, that doesn't mean they can't spring surprises. They can score goals. But what I'm saying is they have to work hard at it.
So you're saying it's a 50-50 chance, the Netherlands versus the U.S.?
It is, but I'm supporting the U.S. because
you have no choice. Over to you,
I'm an American.
I hear that. Well, okay, so the second match in the round of 16 is a game of 2 A's, Australia and Argentina. Now, can we say, Lalu, that Argentina is back after that shocking loss to Saudi Arabia? The famous match is going to remain the most famous, perhaps, match for a long time to come. Now, can we say Argentina is back, or do you see Australia overpowering Argentina?
Well, I would say they are up and coming. They are on the upward trend. They have to prove. They have things to prove in this World Cup. They have to beat Australia. Australia is not an easy walkover. You just can't check the box and say, okay, we're going to beat Australia. They still have to play the game to win. So they still have things to prove. Messi, I'm sure, has something to prove. He's riding on his last leg of a World Cup, so he wants to go out with a bang. So you want to show up and prove that he's still one of the top players. He still wants his name to be up there when they mention great players. So I believe Argentina will beat Australia. They have too much power, too much speed, depth, and I believe they've learned their mistake from the first match. I believe they were complacent in that match, and they will take this Australia match more seriously, and they will advance to the quarterfinal.
Thank you, Lalu. It seems like whenever you expect Messi and Argentina, to perform, that's when, they drop their head and drop the ball. Do you think they will pick the ball up, or they're going to drop the ball again against Australia in the round of 16-second game?
Well, games are different, and this is Australia now. I'm hoping that, I think they're still going to be up there, because if they play Australia the same way they played Poland, they're going to beat Australia definitely. I watched their game against Poland. 95% of that stadium, it was like most of them just went to buy Argentine's jersey. Everybody they were in, just support. And the reporter said they basically came there to watch Messi play. Mm-hmm. So it was just everybody Messi, Messi. So I think they're going to win. I think they're going to win.
Well, the Malashu, Australia pack their bag and just go before the match. What do you think will happen in that match?
No, I think Argentina is going to win that match. And to me, I think the first game for them was, I like the fact that they lost that game to Saudi Arabia. Because like we were talking about waking up after a loss, they seriously, and they made changes too.
Yeah, yeah.
They made changes to their defense.
Yeah.
And that changed a lot of things. And again, I still say this: having Messi on that platform is a lot of things. It makes things happen. Personally, I like Messi better than Ronaldo because he holds the ball. He finds the net open person. It's not just him, trying to run and score the goal like Ronaldo does. No, he holds the ball. He looks for the net person to, who is free, and he calls the defenders to himself so that somebody can be free. The type of skill set that he has. Again, it's just it's so sad that up to now, I mean, Argentina has not been able to figure it out to get to the finals of the World Cup and win. But I think they will win the next game. Okay,
fair enough. Do you have Australian friends or something? Because these guys, I
do, but I haven't spoken with them yet. But I can imagine, knowing that Australia is really not known for football, in the big stages, and so for me, I'm sure they're all celebrating. They're all celebrating.
They've come this far, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Real quick, Ademola, we see that France lost to Tunisia. Again, we're talking upsets here, and the big France losing to Tunisia. Not saying Tunisia is not a great team or a good team, but and now they're going to play Poland. Do you think there's more for the French team to do and to wake up from the shock of losing to Tunisia? What are we to expect?
There's no shock. Period. France did not play their best, and the reason is because they know they've qualified. And I think they're trying to rest those guys because of injury and all of. Coaches do that all the time. But you see that towards the end of that game, they brought Mbappe on to see if they can just equalize. Yeah. They weren't looking for a winning. A loss is okay for them. They're already thinking about the next game, and that's why they did that. Is that a good measure of France's strength? Of course not. I still believe that France will get to either the semi-finals or even the finals. They're one of the few teams that have actually played well, in my own opinion. Maybe Brazil again in that group, and maybe other surprises that we might see. But they're gonna do it.
I like what you said. The coach, and that happens in so many team sports, basketball and volleyball and other sports, where the coach will rest certain players because they've either made the playoffs or things like that. But isn't there an incentive for you? The more goals you score, and your prime minister might as well just give you a Ferrari or a Bentley for scoring more goals. So. I'll take it over to Laulu. What do you think? What are we to expect here? Do you think the French team will still will come out and beat Poland, or it might just be another France and Tunisia game?
Well, I believe France, even though they lost their third match, it's not a good way to end the group stages, yep. But because you need momentum. Having momentum on your side is key whenever it comes to the World Cup. So, but I think I believe they'll find a way to get it right, get it together, put the winning team on the field. It won't be easy because everybody's this is where it counts now. So everybody's coming out to showcase that they want to get to that quarterfinal stage and advance. So, but I believe ultimately France has a lot of firepower. They will figure it out and they will score goals to win.
Awesome. Sunil Limmer, a huge Mbappe fan. What are you expecting?
So I know that Poland has a point man in Lewandowski,
Yep.
but France, they have point men. so they're going to win. France is going to win that game. And they have younger players than even Poland, so they're going to win.
Well, Tunamir, I'll stay with you.
Okay.
The darling of Africa, the champion of Africa, the power soccer house of Africa, Senegal. On Sunday, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time is taking on the big boys in Europe, England. The match to me seems like an intercontinental match in the midst of a World Cup. Will England overpower Senegal, or will Senegal rise to the occasion even without the money? They've survived without money so far. What's your take on that match?
I think if Senegal is able to score early, they're going to win that match. Now, not minding the fact that England has a lot of players and they have a very strong league, obviously. But there's something about Africa. And if you watch how Senegal played their last 2 games, it was like, look, we are ready to die here. Yep. So that's what I think.
Okay. I think I'll walk my way this way. Look, I mean, they've done very well. They lost their first match. I mean, that crucial match to the Netherlands, 2-0. It was late goals. But they came out in the next 2 matches, and it was fight to finish. Now, sometimes when you got the job done in the group stages, sometimes they bring a feeling of, now we are there. Now, with their success in the last 2 matches, I got them into round of 16, get to their head, talking about Senegal, or in fact, we motivate them to go after England and cut off their throat.
I think they'll go for it. That's my opinion. They have nothing to lose. They're the underdog. So when you have that underdog mentality, you should take advantage of it and go for it. So I believe they'll go for it. England has been, known to be underachievers for many years. So they have, on paper, they have the best players in the world playing in England, all across the major leagues in Europe. But they've never really figured it out until recently. Probably, Euro, they got to the finals. But I believe, at the end of the day, to be a close match, Senegal is going to go for it. And but ultimately, England will gut it out. It might go to extra time, but it will be a slugfest for sure. But I think ultimately, England will pull out from that. Yeah.
England scored 6 times against Iran, I think. They couldn't score against, the U.S. team. And I think they beat the Wales 3-1 or something. Now, it's been some great games, some average games for England. Senegal built on the momentum after they lost to the Netherlands. Now, it seems to me like it's going to be a very, very tough match between these 2 countries. Where will you put your bet?
Thank you. I was listening to, I was watching the analysis a couple of days ago, and the reporter from England was like, oh no, we got the team we wanted. And trust me, when that happens most of the time, surprises happen. Sure. So they wanted Senegal. But I'm not gonna bet against Senegal that they won't make it to the next round. But they have a lot of work to do. England is definitely a very good team. I mean, I love their strike, the forward, But like Lauli said, they've been known to be underachievers, and that panned out with the U.S. There's no way they shouldn't have beaten the U.S. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they were playing it safe or whatever, but they've struggled to find goals in some games. And if that happens again in the quarterfinal, Senegal will definitely beat them.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
We are all out for a great game on Sunday, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, Senegal, England.
I'll continue with you, Demola. We're in the knockout phase here, and this is actually the World Cup. This is when it starts, right? And you and I were talking earlier about big names and the presence on the pitch, or in some cases even in the stands, like for example, Mane, right? Which of the star players, in your opinion, have been able to carry the team? And what do you see entering the next round where, will the star player have that much influence, or everybody's just hungry to go to the round of 8?
Thank you, Imeji. I think it's going to be a mix of both. And what I mean by that is, for example, Neymar, we don't even know if he's going to play for Brazil because he got injured. But the Brazilians have risen up to the occasion, and they're winning games. So without Neymar, would they win the next round? I think they will. Now, you talk about Kane, England, that we just talked about. It's been there, but I've not really seen anything spectacular coming from him. So everybody they have to rise up to the occasion to be able to qualify. Who else? Mbappe, the youngest of all of them. I love Mbappe. I've always loved the style of play, even since his days when he was sitting on the bench, before I forget the name of that guy. I've always told my son, I said, this guy is a superstar. And they loaned him out, and that brought him out until the last World Cup. I love the way he played, and that's why I said France might get to the final of this game. You see him all over the pitch. You see him on the left, in the middle, on the right. He's just hungry, going out to make sure that he makes something happen. And when he can't score the goals, he's finding somebody. So he is going to be big in the next game and in all of their games. Who else? Messi, I think Messi still has it in him. Yeah, he's older. And when you're older, you're playing with 20, 21, 19-year-old, you get tired. I mean, there's no other way around it. But the big names, some of them are going to rise to the occasion and lift their country to the next round.
Thank you, Demola. Laolu, Demola has said, or has helped us to imagine the law of diminishing returns, right? The older you get, for Messi, you start to diminish, right? In your opinion, which of the star players have risen up to the task? And which of the star players are we expecting to really step up in the next round?
I think the first person on on the list should be Lionel Messi, because, this is his last World Cup. He has, I'm sure he wants to prove something. He has never made it to the final of the World Cup before. He will want to win it. So I think he's been showing that he's been playing a lot better lately. He's been scoring goals. This is a good time to be peaking, when you're advancing in stages. So Messi is on that list. Lewandowski, I'm not sure. I mean, this is first World Cup he scored. He hasn't been able to score in the last 4 tries, I believe. So he scored a goal or 2. I don't remember how many goals, but he's playing in the second round. He's going to be going up against a team that I don't think he's going to have much chances against them. They haven't really played well during the early stages. They kind of found a way to get out of that group stage. And then also the U.S. Christian Pulisic is another person. But the thing is, he's a one-man team. They refer to him as Captain America. He's supposed to come out and save the U.S. team. So, but there's a lot riding on his shoulders, even at a young age. But he's been taking it well. He's been carrying that mantle pretty well. I think he's had a say in both of the goals they scored. I think he assisted on the first one to Team Ware, and the second one he scored, which he sacrificed his body for. So going into that second round, there's a lot of pressure on all these players that I've mentioned to perform at a big stage and be able to advance, since they haven't been able to do it throughout their career. But Pulisic is still young amongst all of them, and he still has more time to prove himself going forward. But the other two, Lewandowski and Messi, they're on the tail end of their World Cup glory. So this is it for them. So they have to kind of make something happen about it.
Thank you, Laolu. Tunde Lemere, real quick, which of the star players, in your opinion, have carried the teams thus far? And, how much impact do you think this will have going into the round of 16, knowing that everybody, like Ademola said, everyone's hungry?
Yeah, for me, I think it's glaring. It's Messi. Messi is the only one I can think of. I'm not a fan of Ronaldo, but for me in this tournament, I think Messi has actually proven himself helping Argentina. But the one I really want to see that I've not really seen much from is Lewandowski. This is a guy who at some point had bragging rights with Messi that I should be the best, I should have won the Ballon d'Or and stuff. So, but it was as if it was not even the game. Argentina versus Poland, as if they took him out completely. So, and we really need to see more of Lewandowski, and of course, Harry Kane.
All right, as we begin to get to the tail end, this show, let's zoom on Africa once again. Africa has been a World Cup for many years now, but has not progressed beyond the quarterfinal. We've not seen any African country in the semi-final. Tunali, are we ripe? Is it time to see an American team or an African team in the semi-final? And if yes, which of the teams will that be?
It's going to be tough, but honestly, I'm looking at Morocco doing something. Morocco. Yeah, that's all.
All right.
For me, the same. Morocco, I'm looking for them to make a bang, a big bang, and get it, move on from the round of 16. Yes.
Well,
yes, I support that idea of Morocco, because Ghana's part is going to be tough. Because if they finish second, they're going to be facing Brazil. I don't see them beating Brazil. I could be wrong. So I don't even know who Senegal is going to be meeting if they make it to the next. So, but yes, Morocco.
Well, there are no easy games anymore. So if you're going to be in the semi-final, then you must be ready, or even in the final, you must be ready to play any team. All right. Well, the boy says Morocco. Okay. So we'll see.
All right, Ademola, the round of 16, unfortunately, Qatar did not make it. But I would say they have been very impressive in presenting the World Cup to the world. In your opinion, can we say it was worth it for Qatar? That, they put up a good show. At least so far, they put up a good show.
Well, again, when it comes to soccer and football as we know it, I'm always very partial. And the reason why I said that is I wasn't expecting Qatar they could make a splash. And same thing with Saudi Arabia. I mean, name all those names. Now there are room for surprises. So when you're talking about soccer itself or football itself, I don't expect them to get to semi-finals or quarterfinals or whatever. They could if they continue to bring surprises. But as far as hosting the world, I think they've done a great job. I mean, they've done a great job. Those pitches that they were playing on, I mean, those are top-notch. Those are top-notch. You can tell from watching those games.
Thank you. Laulu, what are your thoughts?
I mean, they've done a good job of getting themselves ready to showcase their country to the world, getting all the amenities and the field and everything, ready to go for the World Cup. I mean, along the process was, there were some controversial issues with the process, but at the end of the day, the presentation has been good. I mean, they spent a lot of money. The rate of return is probably not much. But that wasn't the plan. That wasn't their plan to begin with. So, but from the plan they had, which was to showcase their country to the world, has been accomplished, and we just have to give them kudos for that.
Thank you. Tuni Elimero, the Qataris, should they be satisfied with how far they've come, knowing fully well that they didn't have to qualify because they were hosting, right? But then they've put up so far a great entertainment for the world to see.
Yeah, I think they've raised the standard of World Cup. So that's one thing I must say. So kudos to them for doing that. And like I said in one of our first shows, somebody said Qatar hosting the World Cup is like Connecticut in the US hosting the World Cup. So for a country of, I think, about 3 million people or so, they've done really, really well. Now, what this World Cup would do for them is the fact that it's going to promote their league in a way. So you see names start. I won't be surprised I'm not sure if it was Qatar, a team in Qatar who offered Ronaldo 100. Okay, so you see what I'm saying. So it would just be like another Miami, and that's it.
Thank you very much, Emil Romero. Friends, folks, we are so excited that you have chosen to remain with us. We've been talking the World Cup happening in Qatar. We're going into the round of 16. This is my favorite part of the show. where Tunde Badru, I must have deferred to you to give words of wisdom. And let me coin it this way. Life lessons, right? Like I always ask you, sometimes we move from glory to glory. We move from one stage of our lives to a better stage, one job to another job, maybe a higher pay, or not being married to being married. And like they say, new levels comes new devils, right? The struggle becomes harder. Folks are moving from the round of 32 to 16. In your opinion, how can we as, humans deal with success moving into the next round, the next phase of any endeavor in our lives, knowing that there will be challenges even much more than the previous endeavor that we undertook?
Well, the question, is even more relevant now that we're in December. True success is not measured at the beginning, it's always at the end. It doesn't matter what had happened in January, February, up to November. 2022 is not over until 31st of December, the midnight of it, and we cross. So, what that is saying is you can't conclude on 2022 just yet. Senegal lost the first match, 2-0. It was a very painful loss. But hey, when it mattered the most at the end, they rose to the occasion. Now they progressed into round of 16. And as we have said famously on this show, Saudi Arabia won, their first game, but they must be on their way, back home now. So maybe January was great for you. Maybe even November had been great for you. But now we're in December. We're in the last days of the year 2022. Make sure you end this year well. For me, that's when this year will have been a good year. If you had enjoyed January to November, everything's gone well for you, and then you eat a Waterloo in December, it will have been a bad year. So my charge, therefore, is that let's take December seriously. It decides your conclusion about this year. And like I always say, there is always, you are asking about God of soccer.
Yes.
Are they wrong? Well, interestingly, factually, he is the God of everything, of all humans. He created everything. So how a matter starts and ends begins with him and ends with him. So to end 2022 very well, in the month of December, so we have a few days to go, it's only wise to stay on the side of the one who's created everything. That's what I say.
Thank you.
Well, thank you guys for coming to the show. I'm sure when we meet again a couple of days to review the round of 16 matches, your favorite teams will have, moved on, and we'll be getting ready to review the next stages of this tournament. It's been a great World Cup. Tony, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Lalu, thank you. Demola and Dimeji, I'm sure we'll be back on the show.
Yes.
In a few days. Thank you very much for joining us today. We'll be back in a few days to review more of Qatar, 2022. But don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, the King's Palace Television, and all our social media handles. Until we see you again, make December count. It's at the end of December that you can say 2022 has been a great year. Stay with the one who created everything. See you soon again. Bye for now.